What if loneliness isn't caused by bad luck, but by habits you don't even realize you have? What if the reason some people never build lasting friendships has nothing to do with the world and everything to do with the way they approach people? Stay with me, because by the end of this speech, you'll discover the hidden personality traits that quietly push others away, and more importantly, how to avoid becoming your own biggest obstacle. Before we begin, answer this honestly in the comments. Do you prefer being alone most of the time? Type yes if you do. Many people believe friendships disappear because they simply haven't met the right people. Sometimes that's true, but often the real barrier is invisible. It's not your appearance. It's not your background. It's not your success. It's your habits. Friendships don't usually end in one dramatic moment. They slowly fade through repeated behaviors, a conversation avoided, a message never answered, a wall that never comes down. Some people isolate themselves so often that solitude becomes comfortable. At first, it feels peaceful. Eventually, it becomes a prison, not because being alone is wrong, but because avoiding connection eventually weakens the ability to create it. Another hidden obstacle is the fear of vulnerability. Many people protect themselves so carefully that nobody ever gets close enough to truly know them. They smile, they talk, they spend time with others, but they never reveal who they really are. Trust cannot grow where honesty never begins. People don't build deep friendships through perfection. They build them through authenticity. Then there is pride disguised as independence. Some people believe asking for help makes them weak. They insist they don't need anyone. But relationships grow through mutual support. When you never allow others to contribute to your life, you unintentionally deny them the opportunity to feel connected to you. If this message is making you reflect on your own relationships, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people build stronger social intelligence, and you'll never miss future lessons like this. Another habit that quietly drives people away is constant negativity. No one expects you to be happy every moment. Life is difficult, everyone struggles. But when every conversation becomes a complaint, every opportunity becomes a problem, and every person becomes a target of criticism, people naturally begin protecting their own peace. Energy is contagious, so is pessimism. The final trait is the inability to truly listen. Many people hear words, very few hear people. They wait for their turn to speak instead of trying to understand. They interrupt, they dismiss feelings, they make every conversation about themselves. Friendship is built when someone feels seen, valued, and respected. Listening is one of the greatest gifts you can offer another human being. Here's the truth most people never realize. Having few friends doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. Some people genuinely prefer a smaller circle. Quality will always matter more than quantity. The real question is different. Are you alone because you chose peace, or because your habits keep pushing good people away? That answer changes everything. Relationships are not built through luck. They are built through trust, consistency, humility, empathy, and the courage to let people know the real you. The strongest people are not those who never need anyone. They are the ones wise enough to choose carefully, trust gradually, and nurture relationships that are built on mutual respect. If this message gave you a new perspective, share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And always remember, the quality of your relationships is often a reflection of the habits you practice every single day. Extreme self-isolation often begins as a choice, but can gradually become a habit that quietly affects every area of a person's social life. Spending time alone is not unhealthy by itself. Solitude can provide peace, improve focus, encourage self-reflection, and help people recover from stress. The problem arises when isolation becomes the default response to every challenge, disappointment, or uncomfortable social situation. Instead of reaching out, a person repeatedly withdraws, believing it is safer to avoid people altogether. Over time, this habit weakens the very skills needed to build and maintain meaningful friendships. Friendships are not created through occasional encounters alone. They develop through repeated interaction, shared experiences, honest conversations, and consistent effort. When someone constantly declines invitations, avoids communication, or disappears for long periods without explanation, others may eventually stop reaching out. This does not always happen because they dislike the person. More often, they assume the interest is not mutual. As the distance grows, opportunities to strengthen the relationship slowly disappear, making loneliness feel even more permanent. Self-isolation can also create a cycle that becomes difficult to break. The less time someone spends with others, the less comfortable they may feel in social situations. Simple conversations begin to feel awkward, meeting new people becomes more intimidating, and fear of rejection may increase. These uncomfortable feelings often encourage even more isolation, reinforcing the belief that staying alone is easier than risking disappointment. Unfortunately, the longer this cycle continues, the more difficult it becomes to reconnect with others. It is important to understand that choosing occasional solitude is very different from avoiding human connection altogether. Healthy independence allows a person to enjoy time alone while still maintaining meaningful relationships. Extreme self-isolation, however, removes opportunities for trust, understanding, and emotional support to grow. Even the strongest friendships require regular communication and shared experiences to remain strong. Human connection is built through presence, not absence. By remaining open to conversations, accepting invitations when possible, and making small but consistent efforts to stay connected, people create the foundation for lasting friendships. Relationships rarely disappear because of one dramatic event. They often fade quietly through repeated distance, missed opportunities, and long periods of silence that slowly replace familiarity with separation. Fear of vulnerability is one of the most common reasons people struggle to build deep and lasting friendships. Many individuals believe that protecting themselves from emotional pain means keeping their thoughts, feelings, and personal experiences hidden from others. They may appear friendly, polite, and approachable on the surface, yet they rarely allow anyone to truly know who they are. This emotional distance creates a barrier that prevents genuine trust from developing. While it may provide temporary protection from disappointment, it also prevents the closeness that meaningful friendships require. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, when in reality it is a sign of courage. It takes confidence to admit fears, acknowledge mistakes, express emotions, or ask for support. People who avoid vulnerability usually worry that opening up will lead to rejection, criticism, or betrayal. As a result, they keep conversations limited to safe topics and avoid revealing anything deeply personal. Although this approach may feel secure, it often causes relationships to remain shallow. Others may enjoy their company, but they never develop the sense of connection that transforms an acquaintance into a trusted friend. Strong friendships are built through gradual emotional honesty. This does not mean sharing every personal detail immediately or trusting strangers without reason. It means allowing trust to grow step by revealing small parts of yourself over time. When someone shares a personal experience, admits uncertainty, or talks honestly about a challenge they are facing, it creates an opportunity for mutual understanding. This openness encourages the other person to do the same, strengthening the bond between them. People who constantly hide behind a perfect image often create an invisible wall around themselves. Others may respect them, but they struggle to feel emotionally close because they never see the person behind the mask. Friendships thrive when people feel accepted for who they truly are, not for the image they try to maintain. Authenticity creates comfort, while emotional distance creates uncertainty. When you allow trusted people to see both your strengths and your imperfections, you give them the opportunity to know the real you. Genuine connection grows through honesty, empathy, and shared human experiences, making vulnerability not a risk to avoid, but an essential ingredient in building friendships that are based on trust, understanding, and lasting emotional connection. Excessive pride and extreme independence may appear to be signs of strength, but they can quietly create distance between people. Being independent is a valuable quality because it encourages responsibility, self-confidence, and the ability to solve problems without relying entirely on others. However, When independence turns into the belief that you never need anyone's help, advice, or support, it can prevent meaningful friendships from developing. Relationships grow through mutual exchange, not through one person always standing alone. When someone constantly insists they can handle everything by themselves, others may feel there is no place for them in that person's life. Pride often makes people reluctant to admit mistakes, ask for assistance, or express genuine emotions. They fear that accepting help will make them appear weak or less capable. As a result, they keep their struggles hidden and avoid situations where they might depend on someone else. While this may protect their image of self-sufficiency, it also removes opportunities for trust to grow. Friendship is strengthened when people feel they can support one another during both successes and difficulties. Refusing every offer of help unintentionally sends the message that closeness is unnecessary. Healthy friendships are built on balance. Sometimes you are the one offering encouragement, guidance, or practical support. At other times, you allow someone else to stand beside you when life becomes difficult. This mutual exchange creates a sense of purpose and belonging for both people. When one person never accepts support, the relationship can begin to feel one-sided because there is no opportunity for the other person to contribute in a meaningful way. Excessive pride can also make someone appear emotionally distant or unapproachable. They may avoid apologizing, dismiss advice without consideration, or believe their own opinions are always correct. Over time, these behaviors make conversations feel less open and less collaborative. People naturally enjoy relationships where they feel respected, appreciated, and able to contribute without being rejected. True confidence is not proven by pretending to need no one. It is demonstrated by knowing your own strengths while remaining humble enough to learn from others. Accept support when appropriate, and recognize that even the most capable individuals become stronger through genuine human connection, shared experiences, and mutual respect. A negative mindset and constant criticism can quietly damage relationships because people are naturally drawn toward environments that make them feel encouraged, respected, and emotionally safe. Everyone experiences difficult days, disappointments, and moments of frustration. Sharing those feelings with trusted friends is a healthy part of any relationship. The problem begins when negativity becomes a permanent habit rather than a temporary response to life's challenges. When every conversation revolves around complaints, blame, or criticism, people often begin to distance themselves, not because they lack compassion, but because the interaction leaves them emotionally exhausted. A person with a consistently negative outlook tends to focus on what is wrong instead of what is possible. They may dismiss good news, expect the worst in every situation, or immediately point out flaws in people, ideas, and opportunities. Over time, this way of thinking affects not only their own emotional well-being, but also the atmosphere they create around others. Friends may initially offer support and encouragement, hoping to help them through difficult times. However, if every solution is rejected and every conversation returns to the same cycle of pessimism, others may begin to feel that their efforts are unappreciated or pointless. Constant criticism has a similar effect. Some people believe they are simply being honest when they frequently judge others, point out mistakes, or highlight weaknesses. While constructive feedback has value, endless criticism without empathy can make people feel uncomfortable and unaccepted. If someone constantly criticizes friends, coworkers, family members, or even strangers, others may begin wondering when they themselves will become the next target. This creates tension instead of trust and makes genuine emotional closeness difficult to achieve. Healthy friendships are built on balance. Honest conversations should include room for challenges and frustrations, but they should also leave space for encouragement, gratitude, humor, and hope. People enjoy spending time with those who acknowledge difficulties while still maintaining perspective and treating others with kindness. A positive mindset does not require pretending that life is perfect or ignoring real problems. It means choosing to face challenges without allowing negativity to define every interaction. By replacing constant criticism with understanding and balancing honesty with encouragement, people create relationships where others feel valued, supported, and genuinely happy to spend time together. One of the most important qualities in any lasting friendship is the ability to show empathy and genuinely listen. Many people believe that making friends depends on being interesting, funny, or successful, but the truth is that most people are drawn toward those who make them feel understood. Empathy is the ability to recognize another person's emotions, consider their perspective, and respond with kindness rather than judgment. Listening is the skill that allows empathy to become visible. When these qualities are missing, conversations often feel one-sided, and relationships struggle to grow beyond a superficial level. Many people listen only to prepare their next response, instead of trying to understand what the other person is actually saying. They interrupt, change the subject to themselves, or immediately offer advice without first acknowledging the other person's feelings. Although these habits are often unintentional, they can leave others feeling ignored or unimportant. Over time, people naturally gravitate toward individuals who make them feel heard because emotional understanding creates a sense of safety and trust. A lack of empathy also makes it difficult to maintain friendships during challenging moments. Every relationship experiences misunderstandings, disagreements, and periods of stress. Without empathy, people become quick to judge, assume the worst, or dismiss another person's emotions as unimportant. Instead of asking questions and trying to understand what someone is experiencing, they may criticize their reactions or compare them to their own experiences. This creates emotional distance because the other person feels that their thoughts and feelings are not respected. Good listeners do not always have the perfect advice or the right solution. Often, they simply give their full attention, maintain eye contact, avoid unnecessary interruptions, and allow the other person to express themselves honestly. This simple act communicates respect and genuine interest. People remember how they felt during a conversation more than the exact words that were spoken. Feeling accepted and understood creates a lasting impression that strengthens trust over time. Friendships grow when both people feel valued, respected, and emotionally supported. Empathy allows you to see beyond your own perspective, while attentive listening demonstrates that another person's experiences truly matter. Together, these qualities create deeper conversation, stronger trust, and meaningful connections that can withstand disagreements, personal struggles, and the natural challenges that every lasting friendship will eventually face. Many people believe that friendships are discovered by chance, as though meaningful relationships simply appear at the right time with the right people. While meeting someone may happen unexpectedly, lasting friendship is never built by luck alone. Strong relationships develop through consistent effort, shared experiences, mutual respect, and trust that grows over time. Just as a plant requires regular care to flourish, friendships need attention, honesty, and patience. Without these qualities, even the most promising connections can gradually fade. Building a friendship begins with small but meaningful actions. Responding to messages, remembering important moments, showing up when someone needs support, and making time for regular conversations all communicate that the relationship matters. These actions may seem ordinary, but repeated consistently, they create reliability. People naturally feel closer to those whose words and actions match because consistency builds confidence and emotional security. A friendship is strengthened not by one grand gesture, but by countless small moments of dependability. Mutual respect is another essential foundation. Healthy friendships allow both people to express opinions, set boundaries, and make different life choices without fear of constant judgment or manipulation. Respect means appreciating each other's individuality instead of trying to control or change one another. It also means accepting responsibility when mistakes happen and being willing to apologize, forgive, and learn together. Relationships become stronger when both individuals value honesty over pride and communication over silent resentment. Trust develops gradually through repeated experiences. It cannot be demanded, rushed, or built on promises alone. Each time someone keeps a commitment, protects your confidence, supports you during difficult moments, or remains honest even when the truth is uncomfortable, trust grows stronger. Likewise, You strengthen the friendship by offering the same reliability in return. This balance creates a relationship where both people feel safe enough to be authentic without pretending to be perfect. Meaningful friendships are not maintained by convenience alone. Life becomes busy, priorities change, and challenges arise, yet genuine relationships survive because both people continue choosing to invest in them. They understand that connection requires effort from both sides, and that lasting friendships are created through patience, consistency, empathy, and shared commitment. The strongest friendships are not those that happen effortlessly, but those that are carefully built over time by two people who repeatedly choose trust, respect, and mutual care, despite the changes and challenges that life inevitably brings.